Hello everyone, we're going to be conversing between decimals and percentages today, starting off with decimals to percentages. So, decimals, what do we know about decimals? Well, decimals are the same as fractions over 1. So a decimal always has the denominator of 1. So it's expressed as a part of the whole, which is 1. That's what a decimal is. You hopefully remember that from before. Whereas percentages are expressed as part of 100. So percent. If you remember century, that's 100 years. So percent is out of 100. So now we want to find equivalent fractions to 0.36 over 1 that has the denominator of 100. So how can we get from 1 to 100? We can multiply the top and bottom by 100. Okay, so multiply the top by 100 and multiply the bottom by 100. Multiply the bottom, that's just 1 times 100 equals 100. 0.36 multiplied by 100. Well, if I'm multiplying a decimal by 100, I'm moving my decimal point 2 places to the right. You remember that from multiplying decimals, multiplied by powers of 10. So, if I move my decimal point 2 places to the right, that would be 36, because our decimal point is now here. And so a percentage is the same as a fraction over 100. So I write this as 36%. And this symbol here is the same as over 100. It means the same thing. So out of 100. Perfect. So let's move on. And we're not going to use this approach as much. We're just going to simply move our decimal point, because that's going to make it a bit simpler. So this is the context, so you know what you should be doing. But now we're going to simplify it in our next approach. So I'm just going to move our decimal point 2 places to the right. 1, 2. Ooh, I've gone 2 jumps here. So my decimal point is now here, but I've got a missing unit here. Well, if I've got a missing unit, then I just need to put in 0. So 0.7 expressed as a percentage would be 70%. So if you see here that this is a much simpler method, it's a simpler version of this. It's the same thing, but we just simplified it. To just move our decimal point. When we convert from decimals to percentages, we move our decimal point 2 places to the right, whereas when we multiply from the other way, move it to the left, as you'll see in a second. So 22% is the same as 22 over 100. But we know if we want it to be a decimal, we need the denominator to be 1. So what can we do to get from 100 to 1? Well, we can divide by 100. So 100 divided by 100 is just 1, because any number divided by itself is just 1. So 22 divided by 100. What is that? Well, we've got a decimal point after 22, because it's a whole number. If we divide it by 100, that's the inverse of multiplying by 100. And when we multiply by 100, we moved our decimal point 2 places to the right. Well, this time we're going to move it 2 places to the left. So our decimal point is now here. So I've got 0.22. But remember, before a decimal point, we need our placeholder of 0. So 0 is before our 22. So 0.22. I'm just going to express it like that. 0.22 as a decimal. Because when we express in decimals, we don't have to put our over 1 as a fraction. Okay, we're going to use our simpler method like we did, simpler version like we did in example 2 for example 1, now in example 4. So we just need to move our decimal point, which is after the 0. We're going to move our decimal point 2 places to the left. So we put our decimal point here. So we have 0.30. But remember, we have our 0.30 for our decimal point. We can write this simply because we don't need to put the 0 over here. That's unnecessary because it's just not necessary at all. So it will be 0.3. That's how we express it simply. So remember, our rule is for when we're converting from decimals to percentages, we multiply 100 or move our decimal place 2 places to the right. Or when we're converting from percentage to decimal, we divide by 100, which is the same as moving our decimal point 2 places to the left. Good luck. If you have any questions, just speak to your teacher. I'm sure you'll ace it. Good luck.